This is KNEW-TV Channel 32, Metro Television, San Francisco, Oakland. And in this time now, the KNEW Afternoon News for this Sunday, March 2nd, 1969. Here now, Peter Wiggins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins, and here's what's happening here. In New Orleans, Clay Helshaw, freed from what he called a horrifying nightmare-like experience, said Saturday District Attorney Jim Garrison used him as a pawn for his 2 years away to attack the Warren Commission report. The 12-man jury declared Shaw 55 not guilty after 154 minutes of deliberation carried on early Saturday of charges of plotting the death of President John F. Kennedy. The trial lasted 34 days. The 6'4" white-haired defendant said his arrest 2 years ago and in a long trial had financially ruined him and it would be force him to end his retirement and seek some kind of work. He was formerly head of the International Trademark in New Orleans. Shaw's acquittal was followed Saturday by demand for Garrison's removal. The New Orleans State item, one-time supporter of the district attorney, published a front-page editorial calling for Garrison's resignation. He has shown himself unfit to hold the office of district attorney or any other office. The newspaper said Mr. Garrison has abused the vast powers of his office. He has prevented the law rather than prosecuted it. Mr. Garrison's conspiracy case was built upon the quicksands of the unavailability and is the end. It did not stand up. The newspaper said that Garrison himself should know that he brought into the bar to answer his conduct. The president of the American Bar Association said the association would recommend a probe of Garrison and the Shaw trial, the Detroit News reported. William T. Gossett of Detroit was quoted in the Sunday edition of News as saying, the ABA will ask the Louisiana Bar Association to consider disciplinary action against Garrison in the result of the trial, which was called a charade. But later, Gossett said that he was under suppression. The Vermont News reporter Doug Bradford were off the record. He said that ABA board would have to vote as a group on that matter. Gossett pondered on that lawyer of diverse backgrounds and opinions of members of the ABA, and unanimous agreement would probably be impossible. Garrison's motives in bringing Shaw to trial must be investigated by the Louisiana Bar Association. Gossett told the news that the ABA president said there was a feeling of outrage among people in Louisiana over what appeared to be an unjustified attack on Shaw. I'm sorry to the authorities that there is question whether that the indictment was properly founded. My personal opinion is that they will be compelled to investigation, Gossett said. Gossett said trials such as Shaw's tend to create doubt about our judicial process of our system of jurisprudence. I don't know what led Garrison to act in the Shaw case. Gossett comment did he may have had reliable information. Certainly his principal witness seemed to be only reliable. Gossett reference to Perry Russell, the ABA had said Shaw could sue for damages. Stragan teaches at San Francisco State College today, but blown the name of meet before the administration's midnight Saturday deadline. Tonight we'll discuss the status of the distracted of their jobs. Tonight's meeting was scheduled on Thursday and members are notified by mail. The Friday afternoon, the college administrator set the Saturday deadline for teachers to declare whether they plan to resume teaching tomorrow. There's no way we could call a meeting before Sunday. Art Ironman, chief negotiator for the American Federation of Teachers Local 1353, said Saturday they had since February 7th to decide what they want to do to S.I. Hawakara Act. The president is declined to say what action would be taken and the teachers missed the deadline. I promised the teachers and the administration the deadline would not stir up the waters anymore, he said. But Frank Dahl, executive vice president, said Friday that the teachers don't pledge to return to work by the midnight deadline. The college will be no longer be in position to rehire them or recommend their reinstatement to them. Tonight's meeting was scheduled to hear the result of the further study of proposals. Sacramento, Assemblyman Don Mulford, Republican of Oakland, this week will ask the legislature to create at least 5 more Alameda County judgeships to guarantee swift and severe punishment of University of California offenders. Mulford said that his bill would be included 3 Superior Court judges and 2 Oakland Piedmont municipal judges. A new Berkeley Albany municipal judge may be added as well as several temporary judges. The measure will be considered one of the biggest court expansion plans in California history. Except for Los Angeles, a county rarely gets more than a judge or 2 from the legislature at any time. Mulford said that the massive court expansion program is necessary because violations at the University of California and the spiraling crime rate have cluttered court calendars. The average citizens declared that they always fought our system of justice being based on swift and sure punishment. This is no longer true in Alameda County. Mulford said he learned that from court officials that the situation will determine how rapidly and less new judges are assigned to handle criminal cases. The assemblyman said that the courts are forced to shift judges from criminal to civil work because more and more jury trials are being demanded. This in turn has contributed to a rapidly mounting backing of civil cases, he explained. Within the past 2 years, the legislature has added 2 judges to the Superior Court bench and a single judge to the Oakland and Berkeley municipal courts. The reputation of Alameda County judges of hard work and Professional objectioners will be known for California, Mulford said, and I became seriously concerned when they reported the need for more courts. The Assemblyman said the has combined statutes to provide the need for the judges. He said hearings before a legislature committee will determine.
I never thought of David Robinson as being...
San Francisco city officials talk boldly but not too confidently about Mayor Joseph Villalobos' master plan to clean up the San Francisco sewer mess. After 20 years of playing hide-and-seek with the Bay Area, Regional Water Quality Control Board San Francisco supervisors carved into the strong pressure from the U.S. Interior Department and on October 20th passed a resolution agreeing to obey state pollution control laws. On November 13th, Villalobos signed the official policy with intent to adhere to scheduled compliance of waste discharge requirements established by the Pollution Control Board. At the same time, Villalobos let them know that San Francisco wouldn't be able to meet the time schedule unless the state and federal governments put up most of the money to buy pollution control facilities, which the other 90 cities in the Bay Area have taxed themselves to pay for. Nonetheless, Villalobos and other San Francisco officials have been able to say, we are proceeding with a plan, but there's considerable confusion among San Francisco top officials about just what the plan is. Mayor Villalobos says that it's a $3 million plan to build a great sewer discharge pipe stretching miles out to the ocean, he tells reporters. Paris. President Nixon, after 2 days of talks with President Charles de Gaulle, said Saturday that his personal diplomacy in France and other nations in Europe at a zone of cooperation which will break any future diplomatic logjam among the Western allies. Nixon suggested that the French president traveled to Washington never ran a face-to-face talks. The account of the president's conference in Paris and Versailles came from White House press secretary Ronald L. Ziegler, the president, and near the conclusion of its 8-day swing for 5 allied nations. Our informants reported that later that Nixon had come closer to the view of that the often troublesome French president that the Big Four, France, the United States, Britain, and Soviet Union could resolve the Middle East Arab-Israeli dispute. They said that the two leaders were in court on back in West Germany's defense of communist threats by holding president elections in West Berlin, but on other issues like the Atlantic guidelines, international monetary problems, and British bids for common market membership, the sources said there was no convergence. A spokesman for de Gaulle said that the talks produced very good results for the relations between our two countries. While the Nixon and de Gaulle talks appear to be far and long-chilled U.S.-French relations, some 30,000 communists and other leftists paraded at Paris, and some demonstrators burned a dozen U.S. flags and several large photographs of Nixon. Nixon met with de Gaulle for the most of the day under the tapestry 17th century splendor of the great trade on parallels of Versailles and the next to the last day of his 8 nations European swing. Ziegler announced that Nixon invited de Gaulle and the latest and continuing communist threats to West Berlin and the possible thaw in Franco-American relations naturally predominated in the tales. President Nixon had just concluded with President de Gaulle. Yet during the Paris visit of the talks, as well as the conversations Nixon had conducted with other European leaders in the past week, there has been one persuasive and over subject. At the day with the Soviet Union, Nixon did not go to Europe to begin to explore, and before his departure, he said that his purpose to the strengthening and revitalizing the American and European community. This came because there has been widespread serious discussions and doubts about America's defense of Europe and about the strength and stability of NATO. France is not only the nation that doubts that the United States would be willing to risk Soviet nuclear retaliation if American missiles were employed to meet when a Soviet attack on Western Europe. There also is a principle that the United States will be further reduced to 210,000 to 210,000 troops strength down from 250,000 in West Germany, and many European leaders considering an American airlift and an adequate substitute and the force permanently stationed on the continent. NATO itself is a weak instrument of defense that could not stop a Soviet attack, especially with Western troops and near closer to the Western perimeter than any time since World War II. Thus, the British have openly called for a new U.S. pledge of nuclear support. New York, the multi-billion-dollar Ford Foundation said the U.S. foreign policy program is a national disgrace, and the whole structure of the higher education may have to be revised, and the cultural boom is only an explosion of words. The foundation distributed $183 million in grants and other forms of assistance in 1968. It issued an annual report Saturday explaining how it spent the money and touching on American problems at home and in the bar. Mick George Bundy, president of the foundation, was particularly critical of the United States aid program. We have not made a clear national decision in its sustained foreign aid effort is as much as a part of a responsible administration of the world as are spreading for space.
Resurrection series premiere next Sunday night.
Rain and flood worry California could be in for more problems this spring as the deepest snowpack in the history is building up in the Sierra. Against the mountain that an intensely warm rain, a hot spell may melt the pack and suddenly steal away an unprecedented volume of water cascading toward the lower hills, the lower lands. Damage to the agriculture and birds must land itself already exceeds $100 million, and a new flood from the mountains could provide disastrous. We are deeply concerned about the heavy snowpack, said James A. Moe, State Director of Public Works. We will have massive problems if we have the wrong kind of thaw. Moe said that the damage to the city, county, and state roads is new. The new record of $69 million caused by the 1964 floods, and expressed concern about where the money will come from to meet the crisis. Governor Ronald Reagan said that he may support gasoline tax increase to the financial repair work. He is planning to meet tomorrow with leaders on the subject. Fighting the floods, we've been looking over those. Shows all the time that snowpack, said R.W. Miller, State Chief of Flood Forecasting. We are very concerned with the sake of the San Joaquin Valley. Most reservoir storage basins sites are already full, and running off basins have sufficient to handle a big flow. Miller said that the day does not complete on the previous record snowfalls in 1938, 1952, and 1967, but estimated that this year's fall now equals those years, and snowflakes are expected to continue to drop in March and April. In the mountain area about the East Bay Municipal Utility District Party Reservoir, a total of 54 inches of rain and already been recorded, while normal at the time of the year 30 inches. The snow under its location is about 15 feet deep. Two of EBMUD's local reservoirs are not spilling over, and 2 others are near the brim. In Lafayette, 31.7 inches of rain have been recorded compared to the normal 19 inches for this time of the year. Agriculture damage is also soaring into the millions. Early in February, the State Department of Agriculture's estimated losses at $30 million from the ravaging tropical storms of January. Richmond, tentative agreement was reached Saturday in the 2-month-old strike at the Standard Oil Company refinery here. The 13 members of the local 13661 and New York Chemical and Atomic Workers Union will vote on the agreement on Monday at 10 a.m. A proposal must also be given by the union's National Oil Bargaining Committee, which will meet in Denver. Ratification appeared certain since the terms follow those oil union contracts already settled across the nation. Only the refinery here at the Shell Oil Company plant at Avon and the Strat Bound in Contra Costa County. Bob Whistle, president of Standard Local, said that the agreement was reached after a bargaining session here Saturday of almost 9 hours. Main points of the pact were an immediate 6% wage boost, which will push the hourly average at the plant from $3.78 to $4.01. A 45% pay increase of January 1st, which will be hiked the hourly average to $4.79. A dividend boost of 5% on an hour of swing shift workers will get an additional 10 cents an hour. A dividend boost of 10 cents an hour for graveyard shift workers will now get an additional 20 cents an hour. The company will pay 1% more than the employees 1% less on the pension plan, an additional company payment of $3 a month in health plan benefits. Some 300 workers that are still in the strike of the Chevron Chemical Company, a Standard subsidiary here at N. Whistle, reported no agreement in sight. The 17 employees at the Chevron Asphalt Company at Oakland are still striking. This one of the strikers who are allegedly engaged in violence on the jacket line and a major stumbling block in the standard negotiations. And Whistle reported that the matter wears with by agreeing to put the workers on the payroll and submit their cases to arbitrator, which decision will be final. A similar program is holding up agreement on the Shell strike. Okay, now on the weather. It's going to be warm today, cloudy in the afternoon, rain tomorrow. That's the latest forecast from the Weather Bureau Watch. Just started a new storm moving way across the Pacific. The weatherman had previously said there would be no more rain for Wednesday. The thermometer is expected to soar in 60 degrees during the day from a marking in the low 40s on Saturday night. Winds will be 10 to 30 miles per hour. Current conditions at 1:30 p.m. reports at San Francisco. It is 1:30 p.m. 54 degrees light rain, and Oakland it is 52 degrees with light rain, and in San Jose it is 59 degrees with overcast skies. And that is going to be it for the KNEW TV show 32 Media Afternoon News. But for this March 2nd, 1969 on Sunday, please have a good day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye, buddy.